Hi, I'm Dave Keys, and I'm the Community Technology Manager for the City of Seattle. And I've had a long history working in community applications of technology.
Where are we today?
We are standing in the middle of the Marriott Hotel in Minneapolis at the MuniWireless conference. Not the most exciting background, but a great city.
So you've seen that Minneapolis has the Community Benefits Agreement. What do you think of that model?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's actually, rather than just saying digital inclusion or just saying digital divide, it's a great thing to see the community benefits. I think that's a good terminology, actually. Plus, it's also, I think, really important to be including these into some of the municipal and some of the city and town infrastructure agreements and partnership agreements. So I'm really glad to see Minneapolis doing it. It's something that we'll look to, and I know others will build from as well.
What important things have happened in Seattle in this regard? Where's Seattle at?
Well, so far in Seattle, we've run a municipal Wi-Fi pilot project in 2 neighborhood business districts and 4 downtown parks, and we're also in the process of evaluating a fiber to the home or fiber to the premises proposals, and in part looking at investing in that because we think the future is sort of a combination of fiber and Wi-Fi together. If you really want high bandwidth, if I want to be able to take a class virtually on video from my home, or I want to be able to communicate with somebody and have a sign language interpreter, that's going to be fiber. So we've had a number of digital divide, digital inclusion initiatives in general in the city, ranging from including in our cable agreements, broadband connections for community organizations, to grants for community groups to do literacy and training. And so we're moving that also into the Wi-Fi development as well.
Challenging question, but how would you define digital inclusion?
Digital inclusion. I think it's actually a combination of things. So it's providing access to the equipment, it's providing the training necessary to use those tools effectively, it's providing relevant content, it's enabling people to be content providers and producers so they can put it on YouTube or someplace else. And it's also providing the opportunity for people, ultimately for organizations, to have the capacity as well as individuals.
What are the big issues right now for either community technology or internet connectivity across the country, or digital divide? Any issue that you think that we need to be paying attention to now?
Yeah, I think there's still this really clear gap between where people have access, whether that's low income or people of color or immigrant communities in urban areas, or whether it's my sister and brother-in-law in rural Minnesota who still can't get DSL. So I think there's those access issues. I think the big issue is, I think, also developing content and ensuring that organizations are also paid to be able to do the training. So we really want to be sure that the folks who are in some of our low-income neighborhoods, for instance, that they're on the pathway to get those jobs at the software companies, at the technology companies, so they can develop the next generation of applications. And that means that we need to also make that investment in the training. And it's sort of easy to get lost in the feeling that, well, everybody has computers now, so we're done. But it's really not true on the ground.
In your use of technology, what uses of technology of the internet do you think most people aren't even aware are possible? A lot of this issue is people knowing what's possible with this technology. What do you personally use or do that's interesting that people wouldn't think of?
Ooh, good question. There's probably a lot I don't do. I think one of the things that I think we're still really an exciting field is in sort of the social networking applications. So both like tools so that I can connect with people across the world that have the same interests and do that effectively. I think some of the tools are still pretty clunky. It's also, there's some really interesting things I want to be able to connect with the folks down my block so that we're part of the same block watch and we can find each other and know what's going on. So I think there's some really interesting developments in that whole sort of social networking. That also increases access to capital for new entrepreneurs or low-income folks to get access to that information, as well as tech support. So those are really interesting things. I think multimedia production, particularly for youth, and others for civic engagement. So that combination of doing video pieces, of doing polling, of doing some sort of chat and dialogue, so that we can have that background information and then engage people kind of in real issues at real times. So somebody can have real input into when a decision is going to be made, like at the city or state level or federal level, and be able to actually have input that makes a difference instead of sort of just sending it off into the ether and not knowing whether it's going to make a difference.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, man.